What a headshot! What a head!
How's it, guys? This is Dayvy, FPL, and welcome back to the Fantasy Premier League video here on my channel. Now in this video, I'll be taking you through my very own team selection for the upcoming Game Week 8. So the international break has finally concluded. We are approaching that Game Week 8 deadline each day by day, and I can't wait to get back into the FPL content. Now as always, I'll be doing the deadline stream 1 hour before the deadline, so that's the best place to get the most up-to-date team, but I'll be going through my final team selection thoughts in this video. So as always, a quick review of how Game Week 7 went. I know it feels like forever ago, but it's always good to kind of look in the past before making the future decisions, and then I'll be running player by player through my starting 11. So that's something you guys are interested in. Sit back, relax, and let's get straight into it. So a quick review of how Game Week 7 went. I've gone over this in both transfer plans, so I'll be running through this quite quickly. All you guys have to know is I got 52 points and a green arrow. Now as I've said throughout the kind of opening games, the Game Week rank will only be shared around Game Week 10, as the ranks are too volatile at the moment. But you guys can let me know how your Game Week went. Was it a good week, a bad week, or a great week? Honestly, saw every variation over on FPL Twitter. Now the big thing about Game Week 7 was the fact that I used the wildcard chip, and luckily I outperformed my old team by about 10 points. It was more than that, but I probably would have taken Eze out for someone like a Johnson or Martinelli, but if I did choose to keep Eze, it would have been a 15-point gain. So pretty respectable start to the wildcard if I'm honest. Just hope that in the future game weeks we can make up those points even more. So let's go over what my final wildcard team actually looked like if you guys don't know what I finished with. Starting off with the bench, I got Fabianski, Van der Ven, Greaves, and finally Chiwomi. So obviously those last two options probably be on the bench most game weeks, but I brought in Van der Ven as my 4.5. Now I do regret this spot slightly. I actually prefer an Aït-Nouri or a Davis at the current moment, because it just seems so attacking. Van der Ven could be pretty decent though. If you guys saw the Spurs defensive numbers, they're looking pretty strong, but they haven't been keeping clean sheets. So at least I do have some defensive coverage if need be. Greaves also played but conceded quite a few goals, that's why he's got 0 points. So the goalkeeper I went with was going to be Flecken at the cheaper price tag. When I saw Arsenal conceded, I was pretty happy that I didn't choose Raya. Just went with a cheapie. I thought that Flecken was going to get me at least some saves, which he did, but also conceded a ton of goals. So do I regret this kind of slot? Maybe. I guess at 4.5 is not much in it at the end of the day, but I would like to see Brentford tighten it up defensively. Speaking about tightening it up, let's go over our back three because Arsenal and Man City definitely haven't been living up to the hype of their defensive performances, both conceded in pretty easy fixtures. Now Arsenal definitely better than Man City. Fulham actually had a higher XG than Man City did in this fixture, even though Man City won 3-2. So those conceded goals didn't help us as a Rico Lewis and Guardiola owner. At least Lewis racked up an assist. Then with Gabriel, I thought it was a locked-in clean sheet against Southampton, and that's why I was quite worried about not owning the double up. But that Southampton goal came in clutch quite nicely. I was expecting more from this back three, I won't lie, especially when Trent's racking up 8 points, but he was a miss against the easier Crystal Palace team. The reason I didn't go for Trent was I needed the value in my forward department, so let's see if it helped out and we got those points. So definitely Saka contributing there with a massive 16-pointer, outperforming Salah by quite a far margin. Just the great overall performance, only regret was not captaining him, so congrats if you guys went there. Cole Palmer only got 1 assist in this fixture, was hoping for more against 10-man Forest, did have a few chances late into the fixture. So I actually went for Palmer in my wildcard team. There was some debate about not going for him, but I decided to just go for it as I had the opportunity. Now yes, Chelsea have some tough fixtures, but they are still pretty attacking. Let's see what Cole Palmer does in these harder fixtures. Mbeumo with the 8-pointer, just super consistent. The odds aren't favouring Brentford's chances against United in the upcoming game week, but I say otherwise. Super consistent, would have hoped for more though, as Brentford scored a ton of goals, and as their main talisman, was hoping for more than one attacking return. Same could be said about Rodgers and Kulusevski, both players ended up blanking. That United Aston Villa game was pretty kind of lackluster. Unfortunately, Kulusevski, I couldn't afford Johnson, so I went for him, and he racked up a yellow card for my efforts. Might not be the best FPL asset, but I still think Spurs continue to score. Just hope he's involved in a few of them in the upcoming game weeks. Then our front department, it's back-to-back blanks for Erling Haaland. Can he make it a Hattie in Game Week 8? So super confident actually about going for Erling Haaland. When do Man City score 3 goals and Erling Haaland doesn't get anything? That's quite the anomaly. I said this in the first transfer plan, but if you told me before the game week that Man City and Arsenal both scored 3 goals, I probably would have stuck on Erling Haaland as well. so I don't regret this choice too much. Obviously with the points there's a massive kind of difference, but I guess the logic was there. Dom Solanke also returning with 1 assist in that Spurs game. Hopefully he kind of ticks along nicely in the upcoming game weeks. So this was my final wildcard team. Looking back, I just wish I had an extra 0.1 so I could afford a Johnson. Would have gone for Aït-Nouri instead of Van de Ven. More annoyingly, actually Anderson dropped in price to 4.3, so if that happened in the previous game week, I could have had Johnson instead of Kulusevski. But I guess it is what it is. In FPL at the end of the day, the wildcard was at least a success, and using it in game week 7 versus game week 6 proved a massive dub. But as I said earlier on, let me know how your game week went. If you used the wildcard, was it also a good choice? How many points did you guys end on? Now the next talking point to go over, I want to actually show you guys my team selection because currently I'm not planning to use a transfer, even though I've got 1 and 0.0 in the bank. Having no money in the bank means I have to downgrade or go for a like-for-like switch, and as long as there's no injuries, I can't really see an alternative. What you guys can do though is as we go through the team, if you see a position that you'd want to change, comment it down below and I might go for your suggestion. Now just a reminder, on Thursday and Friday massive press conferences are going to be coming up, and these are key because there have been a lot of international break injuries. So just watch out for those. Maybe there's some shock injury news that comes up on Friday, but as I said in the deadline stream, I'll be locking in the team, so hopefully I'll see you guys there. Now on the bench this week, some good fixtures for coverage. Van de Ven is West Ham. The odds for a clean sheet are actually pretty strong, and then Greaves is Everton at home. Chiwomi and Fabianski, don't think they'll be even featuring, but at least we have some defensive coverage if one of our players doesn't start. Fleck in between the sticks, could this be a clean sheet against that poor United side? I don't really know what the way Brentford are defending at the moment. Hopefully some save points do come about. There is always a chance, but not super confident. Our back three starting off with Gabriel. Bournemouth away is a tougher game. You would have seen in the ultimate guide actually the 6th best attack in terms of XG on penalty. So if they can't keep a clean sheet against Southampton or Leicester, I doubt there will be one against Bournemouth. Gabriel also travelling quite far from those international games, but should be okay to start on the weekend. Then I'll double up once again of Man City, Guardiola and Rico Lewis. Hopefully both of them play because they have the best chance of a clean sheet. If one of them doesn't feature, hopefully they don't come off the bench, then we've got Van de Ven, but I would prefer if the Man City assets started this one. Both of them do offer some attacking threat going forward like a Gabriel, so maybe a nice split between attacking and defensive returns. Then Saka kicks off our midfield 5 once again with Bournemouth away. Like this fixture more from an attacking versus defensive point of view. Now Saka is carrying a knock, but as mentioned, the England manager did say that he was close for the last game, and that was going to be on Sunday. So doubt Arteta tells us much about his injury concerns, so I'll keep out of Saka unless we get more concrete news. Then Cole Palmer against Liverpool. This is a tougher game on paper. Chelsea are still expected to score though, so let's see if Cole Palmer gets involved. In Mbeumo against United, we spoke about the ultimate guide. Brentford's odds not looking too great, but I'd argue otherwise, and I feel like Mbeumo can do well. He's just such a great asset at the moment at this price tag, and he has really performed since we brought him in. Now we will be starting Rodgers against Fulham. Even though they're pretty good defensively, I feel like there might be goals here, probably expecting both teams to score. Now Rodgers' expected minutes should still be pretty high, is a great asset, and I always have to remind myself how cheap he is. Then our final midfielder, will this be the week Kulusevski outperforms Johnson? Probably not, but I guess I have to have faith at the end of the day. Now there was some reports that he was struggling with a cold and actually recovering from it during the Sweden games, but Ange's pretty transparent in his press conferences. So fingers crossed Kulusevski is going to be fit, otherwise we might have to make a transfer, and maybe correct the mistake we made on that Game Week 7 wildcard. Now the West Ham game is a pretty good attacking one, Spurs the second highest projected goal scorers, so let's see what Kulusevski can do. Now up front, once again Erling Haaland is our captain against Wolves, not the best defense at the moment. Surely it can't be back-to-back blanks. But Erling Haaland does love his haddies, so let's see what happens, but pretty confident about him scoring. Then the final option, Dom Solanke against West Ham. As mentioned with Kulusevski, this is a great game, and the odds are really favouring Spurs to do well. So no complaints about our forward line. The captain as well as Dom Solanke kind of wraps up our team quite nicely. Now I do still have one free transfer as mentioned. If there is injury concerns, I could use it, but at the current moment I'm hoping to bank it. If you guys are making a transfer, let me know in the comments down below what moves you're making, and if you have any concerns or questions, drop them in my Discord server and follow me on Twitter, both links in the description. Hopefully I see you guys in the deadline stream coming up 1 hour before the deadline on Saturday. Thank goodness the international break is finally ending. This is basically a wrap for you guys. Hope you guys did enjoy it. Please don't forget to like if you didn't subscribe if you have subscribed yet. See you guys in the deadline stream coming up on Saturday, but for the time being, I'm signing off. It's me, Dayvy FPL, and I'm out. Cheers, bye.